Hi all, welcome back to my channel. So if you didn't pick up on the thumbnail or the title, I am pregnant. Today I'm 7 weeks and 2 days pregnant, and we've known for about 3 weeks now because obviously we were trying, and I knew pretty much the day I missed my period. My body's very consistent, so the day my period didn't come when it was due, I was pretty certain that I was pregnant, and turns out I am. So I wanted to share with you all the news and start sharing my process and my journey with the pregnancy because I want to share it. I think that it's a very cool thing to document for myself and for others and for my future child, and I just think why not? Why not share this whole journey that I'm now embarking on. I actually recorded 2 weeks, week 4 and 5, but I hesitated on sharing and publishing because I had to walk through a few things within myself first. For those that have followed my channel for a little bit, you know that last fall I had a miscarriage at around 7 weeks, and I didn't find out until 9 weeks at our first ultrasound. And so this time around, while I wanted to share early on because I wanted to be open about this process, because I found initially when I had a miscarriage, I thought it was very rare because I never heard women talking about their pregnancy or their miscarriages, and so I wanted to share my journey right away, good or bad, progressing or miscarrying. I wanted to be able to share the whole journey from the beginning because I wanted to kind of break that idea that miscarriages are rare. Even though that was what I wanted and that was my intention, I had to walk through some fears first. I had to address some ideas that I still had within this pregnancy before I could openly share with you guys. Because I had a fear that I would miscarry again, and initially I was super excited when we found out. I was like elated about it. I was so happy because we'd been trying. And not long after that, I kind of took a nosedive into the negative experience around it, the fear, the doubt, the worry, the belief that really I probably wouldn't be able to carry a child, that there is probably something inherently wrong with me. You know, I had to face this deep-seated self-idea, this self-definition that I have that wasn't even related to pregnancy per se, but it's kind of where this point emerged, where I had to face this idea that I have about myself that I'm actually not good enough, there's actually something wrong with me, and yeah, chances are I probably will miscarry because that's what would happen to me. That's what's likely to happen to me because I'm just not good enough. So I had to do some extensive self-forgiveness around that point, and walking through it, I realized that there was this point of acceptance that needed to take place, that I am good enough, that I am okay, there's nothing wrong with me. I had to really kind of dive into some of that a little bit. And once I realized that, well, the big thing for me, the big indicator where I knew that I was facing some deep-rooted programming was when I was telling myself that if I acknowledged that I was pregnant, I was in denial of the reality that chances are I wouldn't lose the pregnancy, because within my mind, the reality was that it wouldn't work out. Of course it would not work out. Of course I would fail at this. Of course I would lose the pregnancy. And so when I tried to acknowledge the fact that I was pregnant, I had this idea festering in my mind that I was in denial. I wasn't accepting the reality that of course I would miscarry. And so that to me was kind of a red flag that was similar to other experiences that I have, where self-doubt and assuming the worst and not trusting myself or other people, it had the same kind of signature around it. So I knew that I was dealing with something that was more in my own mind, in my own head, that I was making up, that instead of it being an actual reality. Because I really believed, I have a sense that I lost the pregnancy already, or it's not gonna work out. But really it was just a fear. Really it was just an energy based on my past experience of having a miscarry that was just still existing within me. So I had to walk a bit of a process within myself, facing these fears, facing the self-doubt, facing the self-judgment, ultimately facing this idea of myself that it wouldn't work out. Of course it wouldn't work out. And so once I walked through that fear and I did the self-forgiveness around it, it was amazing because the doubt and the fear and the insecurity and the self-judgments, it lifted, it was gone. And all of a sudden I was like, cool, I can actually embrace the fact that I'm pregnant now. I can actually like accept the fact that I'm pregnant, and all of a sudden I didn't have this like dark cloud hanging over me, and it was awesome. So it was a really cool like process to walk through and to experience, because it just showed me how much I was messing with myself within my own mind, how much I was forcing myself to believe in the worst of myself. And being able to have these tools that I have, such as self-forgiveness, to release myself from that dark cloud, it was really cool just to cross-reference to see how much my experience then shifted and released, and I could actually now walk with reality in that I'm pregnant. Yeah, I'm pregnant. And so the experience has been, after that, it's been good. The last week has been really rough with morning sickness, which is really all-day sickness, food aversions, just feeling so gross. Like my experience is just like wanting to be like all the time, just like just like everything is so gross. For a couple days there, I explained it, it felt almost like my stomach was empty on the day after going out drinking all night, and so I was like hungover. My stomach felt like I was hungover, it was an empty stomach, and I needed to like fill it with greasy, like heavy foods to soak up all the alcohol. That's how I experienced it for a couple days. The last 2 days, it was just, it's just an unpleasant experience, I'll say that. There's definitely some new symptoms or signs of pregnancy that I didn't experience last time, like bloating. Bloating's been a big thing the last couple weeks that I've experienced. It's mellowed out a little bit this last week, but the first like 2 weeks, it was, I felt like I looked 4 months pregnant already. It was like, I felt so just like full and bloated, and it was really uncomfortable. And also constipation. That's a fun one that I didn't expect, or I didn't realize that pregnant women experience, but yeah, that's something that I've been going through. Any new moms out there that are going through constipation as well in your first trimester, may I suggest chia pudding. I've been eating that every few days during the weeks, and it's really kind of helping things to continue flowing, so that's been good. And then, you know, of course, the classic tiredness and like super tender breast and a little emotional. So yeah, that's kind of what's been happening. Yeah, so just a couple days after my 7 weeks, we have our first ultrasound scheduled for September 9th, which is the day after Andrew's birthday. And yeah, we're looking forward to that. It's interesting because this is the second pregnancy now I've gone through in the last year. And we made it to about week 9, which is when we had our first ultrasound before we found out that I had miscarried. Because I didn't have the classic miscarriage. I had what they call a missed miscarriage, where the fetus basically stopped developing, and then when we went to the ultrasound, they told us there was no heartbeat. It was measuring 2 weeks younger than it should have been, and so they just said that it was a miscarriage. And then my body released my uterus like 2 weeks later. Traditional miscarriages, or the more common miscarriages, is when the women have the cramping and the bleeding, and it's basically like they have their period, right? So it's like they lose what's in the uterus that way. So yeah, that's as far as we got last time, was about 9 weeks. So we're kind of walking that point now again, where this is 7 weeks. This is kind of where the fetus stopped developing last time, and then the next ultrasound, or the ultrasound that we have on the 9th, will be around 9 weeks. So, you know, hoping all things are well and the pregnancy progresses. But I'm definitely glad to be able to share this journey and share this process now, starting at an earlier stage, so that I can share how it goes, good or bad. I can share this process so that I can support not only myself, but other women that might go through it. Yeah, so that's what's going on. I plan to do a weekly update, pregnancy update, throughout the next 40 weeks. We're due April 2021, so we got quite the road ahead. And this might be just the only videos that are coming out for the next few weeks. For those that do follow my channel, you'll also know that I am currently going to school to be certified as a paralegal, and the next course starts this fall, this next week here. So I'll be busy full-time working, going to school part-time, being pregnant, which is like really, it's been a process of really slowing down and really not being able to go at the pace I have been going, which is kind of full speed. And it's kind of great. It's been really nice actually to take this break. Initially I resisted it. Initially it was a little bit difficult, but I'm really like letting my body take the lead in a way, and I'm trusting and following what my body's saying. And my body's saying, take it easy, slow down, don't do as much as you used to, you don't need to, it doesn't matter. You know, what matters is that I'm healthy and I'm getting my proper rest and proper food and proper water, and taking care of myself ultimately, and not pushing myself extensively or over pushing just because I think I have to, you know. So with school coming up as well and being in work full-time, things are going to be a little bit slower on my channel as well. I'm just going to kind of focus on the weekly pregnancy updates. So if you're interested in that, definitely subscribe if you haven't yet and click the notification button so you know when I publish the next video. Otherwise, thanks for watching, guys, and we will see you soon.